Hey YouTube, God bless you this morning. Prayerfully this video finds you well. Listen real quickly. Don't forget tonight, Tuesday, Pastor Nate will be going live. Yes, we will be on the Smart Show. And tonight we're going to be talking about what God thinks about diversity. We hear it all the time in the streets. We hear it on our job about diversity, about inclusion. So what does that mean from a biblical aspect? So I want you to come in tonight at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Don't meet me here, beat me here. Yes, tonight on the Smart Show. I want you in the house. I want you to be in the comments. Tell me what you think, and we just gonna go through that word for 45 minutes talking about diversity from a biblical standpoint. Let's get into it. You saw the title, Don't Eat from This Tree. Yes, don't eat from this tree. And you know, in Genesis, God had instructed Adam, out of all the trees in the garden, this particular one, do not eat of it. He gave him specific instructions. And in Genesis 3 and 6, you can read where Eve went to the tree, and the scripture said it was pleasing to the eye. Yes, it was very tempting, and she desired it. My God. So to make a long story short, she ate of the tree, and that's when corruption came in, because they disobeyed God. Not only did she eat of the tree, but she gave the fruit to her husband Adam, and he also partook of it. And of course, they suffered consequences as a result. So my point is, don't eat from this tree. Out of all the trees, don't eat from this one. And I don't know, sometimes the temptation, what drives the temptation, sometimes I think it's curiosity. And of course, sometimes it's our sinful nature, our flesh really desire a thing. So women, out of all the men, don't touch this one. Don't eat from this one, right? Because this one is taken. This one is married. By the same token, men, out of all the women in the world, don't touch this one. This one is already taken. Oh my, Pastor Nate, I know I'm talking to somebody this morning. And the list just goes on and on, the various temptations that we face with every day. Out of all the legal ways to make money, people, this fast way, this fast life, don't touch that way. Don't eat from this tree. And that's what it essentially is, what it means is temptation, right? The temptation. It looks so good. It feels so good. It tastes so good. It smells good. But in the end, it will destroy you, people. It will ruin your life. Many of us have experienced that. If we just thought it through, or if we made a different decision, some of us probably wouldn't be in the situation we're in right now. Or we can go back and relive some of those experiences, we would do things differently. And after we experienced it, we said to ourselves, that's over, it's overestimated, or, it wasn't what it was all cracked up to be. But you bit into the fruit. And some things, and I made another video, some things are just beyond repair. In most cases, you can come out of something. God can bring you out because of our carelessness. But some things God has to give us grace to just deal with, because it cannot be repaired. Just like Paul, when God responded, say, my grace is sufficient. So whatever that thorn is, you just have to deal with it. I'll be with you. Y'all, we reap what we sow, so we got to make sure that we avoid temptation as much as we can. And here's another, the condom. A lot of people, are into sex. This is a sexually oriented generation, if you will. We tell our young people, we tell people, don't have sex until you're married. But we're not naive. We're not oblivious to what's going on. We know they're still going to have sex anyway, so we have to have another conversation, right? If you're going to have it, in order to prevent you from getting pregnant, because we want you to go to school, young people. We want you to have make a decent life for yourself, then get married, then have children, right? Do it right, so you can be in a stable position and take care of you and your child, right? And have a family, right? So, but if you're not going to do it that way, Put on a condom. See, that's another conversation we got to have, because some of our children, they're going to do what they want to do. So we have to tell them, put on a condom, because the temptation is they don't want to wear one because they feel like it's more pleasurable without it. But it could hurt you in the long run. Yes, put it on. Prevent pregnancy and prevent STDs and all types of diseases that are out there. Because one thing about it, one moment, a few seconds of pleasure. Oh, God, hear me good, friend, this morning. Somebody know what I'm talking about. A few seconds of pleasure can impact the rest of our life. So don't eat of this tree, friend, please. Don't eat of it. Temptation causes us not to think straight. A lot of times we don't think till after the act. Then it's too late. Think before. I know it looks good, but everything that glitters is not gold. Everything that look good to us is not good for us. So be careful. I had to do that. There are some decisions that I would have made differently, but thank God that the decisions I did make, they weren't so detrimental that it ruined my life. God gave me grace, and many of you, He's given grace and let you bypass the detriment of your action. Oh, what a mighty God we serve. What a God of grace and what a God of mercy. When we should have been suffering, when we should have been, reaping what we sowed. God didn't let us reap that bad. Maybe we paid for it a little bit or what have you, but God gave us grace. So, I thank God for that. But, some people are really suffering from their actions. So, we have to think before we do things. We have to think before we act. The temptation is there, but we got to learn how to avoid those temptations. And one thing that helps me is I always say this within myself. Pastor Nate, don't give your flesh access to fail. Don't give yourself access to mess up, right? You know you better than anybody. You know what you need to do to stay free. You know what you need to do to stay delivered. If temptation to you is shopping and spending money to the point where you can't take care of bills and things that you need to take care of because you have that shopping spirit, come on somebody, y'all ain't gonna talk, then you don't need to stop by the store. You need to keep on driving by. If you know that if you're trying to be free from being involved in sexual activities, I'm just using it for an example, then don't open the door after 11 o'clock and say we're going to watch Netflix. Y'all ain't going to talk to me in here this morning. Oh, I'm just telling the truth. I'm just trying to help you stay free. And I have to do that, y'all. I have to make these decisions so I can stay delivered. Once God has brought you out, the scripture says, be not entangled with the yoke of bondage again, wherewith Christ hath made us free. Y'all, let me tell you something. Once we come out of something, once we've been freed from something, don't think the devil ain't gonna bring it back. Oh yeah, he gonna bring it back way worse than he did before, because he's gonna try to, when I say worse, that means he's gonna bring it back looking better, tasting better than before, right? And making it more appealing to you so it can be tempting and try to get you to fall for it. But don't eat from that tree, friend. Don't eat from that tree. Prayerfully, this exhortation bless you this morning. Share this with somebody who needs to hear this, right? We have to make the right decision. Don't make a decision just out of the spur of a moment or because we want something, because we desire it.